Chapter 29. The Call of Abraham. Genesis 12, 1-9. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, Get thee out of thy country, and from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. So Abram departed, as the Lord had spoken unto him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed out of Haran. And Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their substance that they had gathered, and the souls that they had gotten in Haran, and they went forth to go into the land of Canaan. And into the land of Canaan they came. And Abram passed through the land unto the place of Shechem, unto the plain of Moreh. And the Canaanite was then in the land. And the Lord appeared unto Abram, and said, Unto thy seed will I give this land. And there builded he an altar unto the Lord, who appeared unto him. And he removed from thence unto a mountain on the east of Bethel, and pitched his tent, having Bethel on the west, and Ai on the east. And there he builded an altar unto the Lord, and called upon the name of the Lord. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. Genesis 12, 1-9. When Abram was 75 years old and Sarai 65, verse 4, God called him to leave Haran for Palestine. The call was a very specific one. First, get out of Haran. Second, leave your relatives and your father's house. Third, go to, quote, a land that I will show thee, verse 1. Abram is told that if he does this, first, quote, I will make of thee a great nation, end quote. Second, quote, I will bless thee and make thy name great, end quote. Third, the conclusion of verse 2 is more accurately rendered, be thou a blessing. Fourth, I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And fifth, in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Verse 3. God not only tells Abram that he will be greatly blessed, but he also declares that nations, as well as men, will be blessed or cursed by God in terms of their relationship to Abraham. The whole world will in time be blessed because of Abraham. As a counterpart to this outpouring of blessings, Abram is commanded in verse 2, quote, Be thou a blessing, end quote. In every calling by God, this command remains. We are blessed, but we must also be a blessing to others and to the world around us. The promise of the land, Canaan, is this, quote, Unto thy seed will I give this land, verse 7. It would provide a burial place for Abraham, but it would be his descendants who would inherit the land. What God required of Abraham was faith, faith in God and faith that God would keep his word. Hebrews 11, 8-10 tells us, By faith Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for a city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Abram was not chosen by God because he was a better man than his forefathers, but because God, in his sovereign grace, had chosen to use Abraham. This calling and the covenant that followed gave no proprietary right or title to God's promise to anyone in Israel or in the church, because a covenant requires obedience, faithfulness. At any time, God can replace the covenant breakers with another people. God, through Amos, speaks of this, quote, Are ye not as the children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, saith the Lord? Hath not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Capthor, and the Syrians from Kir? Amos 9:7. It is a great evil for men to assume that God is bound by covenants men break at will God spoke, and Abram departed from Haran as he was ordered to do. Verse 4. He took with him his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, all their substance, and all the quote-unquote souls or persons who were a part of their family. These quote souls end quote could be called slaves, but the term does not fit because they were family members because of their bondage. In that era, a slave could be a friend or a relative, and he could inherit even though he was not blood kin. Prior to the birth of either Ishmael or Isaac, Abraham's heir was such a man, Eliezer of Damascus, Genesis 15:2. Because the culture was familistic, the orientation of all things was to the family. The state was then a minor thing, often an extended family, tribe or clan. Families then, as always, could be good or bad, but the centrality of the family to life as a whole placed a restraint on irresponsible family government. The fact of a dowry was also a restraint on careless marriages. There was always too much at stake. All such quote-unquote souls or slaves could, under the Mosaic law, and apparently before it, go free if they converted, or on payment of the debts that led to their bondage. Since all of Abraham's household were apparently believers, all were included in the covenant, and all males were circumcised, Genesis 17:9-14. The uncircumcised were to be abolished from Abraham's household for their unbelief, Genesis 17:4. It was a violation of God's covenant. Now, when Abram was called by God to leave his family and migrate to God's appointed place, Abram was leaving behind vast wealth and a comfortable way of life. Both Ur and Haran were substantial communities, and Abram's family a wealthy one. The purely personal wealth he took was enough to classify him as an important man. In Genesis 14:14, when Abram pursues the army that took his nephew Lot captive, he fielded a force of 318 men from his own household. This meant that he left at home approximately as many older men to care for the sheep and cattle and a like number of young boys, so that the males in his household numbered about 1,000, with an equal number of females, young and old. The original family wealth, of which Abraham would have been heir, was probably much greater. All this Abraham forsook for a promise from God. While asking Abram to leave the family wealth behind, he also says, quote, "Be thou a blessing," verse 2. What God had promised to do through Noah and Shem, he now tells Abram is his inheritance. Great or small, however, if God blesses us, we must, in turn, be a blessing. Unhappily, too many seem to believe that God's calling is, "Be thou a stinker." Abram, in reaching Palestine or Canaan, went to Shechem, Moreh, and then to the south. It was in Canaan that God appeared to Abram to say, "Unto thy seed will I give this land." And Abram built an altar there and worshipped God. Verse 8. It is often noted that this is the first theophany or manifestation of God's presence in some form after the fall. It is certainly the first record of such an event, but this does not mean that it did not occur previously. In Genesis 11:1-9, we have the Tower of Babel and God's judgment on mankind. In Genesis 12:1-9, we have the calling of Abram. Men may place their hope in great international efforts which are no more than minor Towers of Babel, whereas God brings the world under his dominion, one person at a time. The political hope is a trust in a false community of salvation, and its consequence is continuing disaster. A very striking fact in this text is that God orders Abram to leave his family, a startling fact given the culture of the time, in order to be a blessing to all the families of a future era. The family was and is central to God, but he is over all and before all, and he must be served above all else.